Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.
What it do, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of obviously it is your boy Pride right here with the man, the myth, the legend himself. I call him my White Iverson, Mike Stand Up from Chi-Town. How you doing, Mike?
What's the word? I'm chilling. I almost died today. It was crazy. The night is still young. Hopefully, God bless. I get to see another day tomorrow. But to whoever was driving that black SUV going down Lawrence, you missed. I just want to maybe next year.
Yes, sir. Let him know. Let him know. You can't touch my guy Mike. He untouchable. You feel me? But
don't say that now. Today I was.
But not tomorrow. But speaking of untouchable, the New York Knicks in this offseason picked up Kemba Walker, and he was untouchable, right? Oh, we're building around him. He is going to be the guy to put us over the hump. And there have been fourth quarters where Kemba Walker had a DNP. There has been times where Kemba Walker on that court looked lost. He looks, and let's just call it what it is, Mike. If I'm bugging, let me know. He almost looks like an undersized Russell Westbrook out there. He just looks completely out of sync.
Nah.
You're not going that far?
Russ is athletic.
No, I'm just talking about in terms of fitting around the team.
Oh, yeah, but
I'm not talking about play style.
Worse. It's worse than Russ, I think.
You think so?
At least Russ is kind of giving you a show. Like, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he'll mess around and give you a triple-double. Kemba's just kind of vibing, I guess.
I'll be honest with you, I even think it's vibing. Like I said, there's been times where, like, he wouldn't even be in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they would sit him down. So here's the $1 million question for you, Mike. Is it time for New York to give up on this whole Kemba Walker experiment?
I thought it was a reach when it happened. And you know, this is the Chicago fan in me, but it is me being real. I felt like I would rather you rock with Derrick Rose and Emmanuel Quickley than to see what you were doing with Kemba Walker, because the role Derrick Rose played as a floor general, he understands what he's supposed to be, and he does it at a very high rate. This isn't the Derrick Rose's first stint in New York. It's not like when it was him, Kristoff, and Carmelo Anthony and Joakim Noah trying to get a ring. Like it's not like that. He understands his role. He understands that these young bucks are going to be coming up. Julius Randle, so on and so forth. They're amazing players. RJ Barrett's taken a huge step forward, which has surprised a lot of people. Obi Toppin still not really doing anything for me.
What up, Mike?
Yes, sir. Bear down, Michael. But hopefully Thanksgiving, bro. Thanksgiving, bro. Day, baby. But we'll get to that in another time. But with Kemba, it just felt like a stretch. It felt like a household name. And I say this all the time, Pride. You always hear me say it. When you get these type of deals, when you get these type of moves, you're doing it for the name brand. You're not doing it because Kemba is who Kemba was. You're doing it because his name is Kemba Walker. And what was Kemba Walker? Kemba's not that guy that he was in Charlotte. And he hasn't been since, honestly, his last year in Charlotte. He didn't even look himself in his final year in Charlotte. And that's the biggest problem. They knew they were moving on from him. Not to say that they should give up on him, but I don't think they ever should have gave in to Kemba. I don't think it was ever the right move. I think I was watching a podcast about it. I really don't know what you would get for Kemba Walker on the market right now. Now, one thing I find interesting, maybe, just maybe, you get a Joe Harris or something from the Nets while they're waiting for Kyrie Irving. But even that's a stretch, because at any point in time, Pride, I know we're not going to beat our old drum, but at any point in time, one shot or one mandate goes away, and then again, Kemba does not fit on the Nets. So Kyrie's back doesn't make sense. There's a lot of money with that. I don't know how you feel about it, but I was never sold on Kemba, so I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, look, I'm a Celtics fan, right? And when we had him, when we had Kemba, here was my whole thing with him. And Sensei, I'm gonna pass it on to you in a minute, but my whole problem with Kemba Walker, ever since he left Charlotte, and yep, you're right, Kemba. It was a horrible move. It was just to sell tickets.
It was a hometown.
Oh, for sure.
And here's been my biggest problem with Kemba Walker ever since he left Charlotte. No matter where he went, there never was a role for him.
Right.
No one ever sat down and said, even in Boston, they were like, "Yeah, bro, look, listen, you're gonna lead us into the promised land," but then on the court, they prefer to run the ball through Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So
but Pride, I do want to ask, now that you're starting to hear this stuff come out from Marcus Smart, is that more on Kemba or is that more on Jaylen and Jason? Because we're hearing these things that they don't want to pass the rock, that they want the ball in their hands. So was that really Kemba? I understand that it is on Kemba at the end of the day, but it is Boston's in a very weird situation right now.
Yeah. We are. And
now the fact that OKC didn't want you was where I was like,
which is where guards go to die for real. But
in all honesty, though, it really isn't. It's where point guards go to refresh their career. We saw Chris Paul do it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yes.
And Schroeder in OKC was vibing.
Yeah. That's a good point.
My thing with Kemba was like, when OKC got him, they immediately were like, "Bro, you're not playing here. Just don't even buy it." They literally told him when the trade went down, they traded him immediately.
Right.
And then they called Kemba Walker and said, "Bro, don't come here. We already traded you." Kemba Walker didn't even know he was traded officially to OKC until people from OKC called him and told him, "Don't come." That's what he found out.
Like, y'all remember when Carmelo was a Bull for like 5 seconds, and then
I think they went.
Just kidding.
Yeah, same thing with Atlanta. Before he went to OKC,
seriously.
He was traded to Atlanta, who immediately got rid of him. And it was kind of funny because they did this thing. The first time Carmelo was out, they did this thing, but they put all his jerseys out together or whatever. And they left out Atlanta. Atlanta was so salty. They were like, you missed one." And it's like, "Yo, Bozos, y'all didn't even have enough time to make him a jersey."
Listen, if I don't run a up and down or a practice with y'all, I'm not including you in my jersey. So don't play me.
Listen, if I'm ever rocking a Bulls number 7 Melo jersey, y'all mind your damn business. Y'all mind your business.
But I'm gonna tell you this about Kemba. He just right now. He's playing a career low, 24 minutes per game. It's never been that low since his rookie year, and his rookie year he played 27. Now he's at 24, and it's just he just doesn't look right. He's shooting 43% from the field, 41% from three. He's shooting decently from three, but he's only giving you 11 points per game. And it's kind of like this whole thing where it's like New York is in this tough position. They're in this tough position, sis, because Mike was saying it earlier. If they want to trade him, the market is not that good.
And not at all.
Walker anyway. So this low key might be a situation where they have no choice but to rock out with him because I don't know if they got a choice, sis.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you, Pride. And honestly, even before that, like before he got with the Knicks, the trade market wasn't that high for him either. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't really a highly touted guard in that sense. Somebody has a show on because I hear echo.
Not me.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know where that's coming from, but anyway, he wasn't like a highly touted.
I did hear it.
He wasn't really a highly touted guard like that in the beginning. So I mean, I think he's at that weird point in his career right now where it's like he can't really give you anything. Like it's not he's not really like bringing anything positive or forward to your team. You know, he's just kind of an addition. He's not something that stands out that, okay, if we get Kemba, this is going to make us better. It's kind of like, you know, the Knicks are kind of stagnant right now with Kemba. It's like, you know what I'm saying? They're just as good as they were last year. They're not really any better with Kemba or without him. So it's like, I mean, it sucks to say, but like he really stayed in Charlotte too long. I honestly think he stayed in Charlotte too long because once he finally did leave, he was already on the decline already, and that's where Charlotte didn't even want him. It wasn't even the point where he was trying to leave. It's just Charlotte didn't want him anymore because it's like we're not going anywhere with you. So it's like we might as well move on and see if we can get some young guys or get somebody else, and we'll just try it that way. And it's worked out for Charlotte perfectly, but I think he just overstayed his welcome in Charlotte. I think, like I said, he chose way too late to leave, and now I think it's coming back to bite him because him in Boston didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me because he's not Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Grant, like he's injury prone like Kyrie. So you have that, but I mean, other than that, as far as skill wise, he's not Kyrie. He's not gonna get you big shooting outputs because he's not that great of a shooter. He's not really a facilitator. He's more of a trying to get his own shot kind of point guard. And that didn't really make any sense when you have a Jaylen Brown and a Jason Tatum already who can create their own. They don't really need somebody to, you know what I'm saying? So it's like he didn't really make sense in that offense, and I don't think that he makes sense in the New York Knicks offense because is he starting over D Rose, Mike?
He's starting, but he's not playing more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like so it's like you have,
but D Rose is playing
like so it's like
and D Rose had like 30.
Yeah, so it's like you have a starting point guard already. Then you have D Rose. You don't really need. There's no reason for Kemba Walker to be in New York. Honestly and truly, there's no reason for him to be there.
Now,
so it's like, where does he go? But the market is like, where does he go? But go ahead.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. I didn't mean
What's up, Coach? No, you good,
Dante. But it's definitely something I was just thinking of while Alana was talking. I'm really looking at Philly right now, and New York being the Knicks, the draft picks that they would be offering, not only with Kemba, but for Ben Simmons, I feel like really would be special.
That's interesting, Mike.
It's not a crappy pick. Like, it's the New York Knicks. Like, there's an argument that this is going to be a top 5 pick potentially. So maybe you flip it. Maybe Kemba and Embiid start rocking with Tobias Harris and Doc Rivers, and they do their thing. Kemba can kind of just not be that number one guy. You wouldn't be mad at him. Yeah. As long as he was passing the rock. I seen him shoot threes against the Bulls. His only good game this season was actually against the Bulls, which pissed me off. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I just so happened to be there too, which is the perfect night for Kemba to go off. But I really do think that if Ben Simmons is to go anywhere, I think the Knicks actually have the most trade value to offer because those picks are relatively always going to be super high. You have Ben Simmons bringing in that defensive end that Obi Toppin can't really give you. So I'm looking at it like that. Maybe you go back to D Rose starting Emmanuel Quickley, whichever way you want to put it. And
that's what it was. Emmanuel Quickley. Okay, I can think of his name. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, but so Kemba Walker, he's got a 2-year, about $17.8 million contract. He can't be traded till December 15th. So as of now, they're gonna have no choice but to make it work.
Yeah.
When it comes to this whole situation, I'm gonna sound messed up. Kemba Walker is always he was a solid player in Charlotte. Not gonna take that from him. Ever since then, he looks washed. Let's just call it what it is. I'm a Celtics fan, so I watch the games. Kemba Walker looks washed.
Yeah, he doesn't have that same burst of speed anymore. He doesn't have that first step. He doesn't have that that step back that was deadly. That was that crossover. Like it's definitely not the same anymore. As far as it pertains to him. So I think he's gonna unfortunately end up in a situation kind of like the John Wall, where it's like, what's the market really for you? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like nobody needs a point guard. Yeah, like nobody needs a point guard like that. Like in today's game, like you need somebody that can facilitate, but that can also consistently shoot the ball well. It's not enough to get a highlight here and there. Like it has to be consistent throughout, or it's like, what are you here for? Like, why are you here?
Right, and that's the problem with Kemba Walker, where like, he already is being suspect on the court. At this point in his career, he would probably do more good if he started playing like Kyle Korver. Because the only thing he's doing right is shooting threes. That's the only thing
catch and shoot,
Put some respect on my boy Kyle.
No, this is not to disrespect Kyle Korver. Look, he's a phenomenal 3-point specialist. Yeah,
The GOAT.
As 3-point shooting, let's not do that.
In general, I said what I said.
Oh, in general, for me, there's only one guy who could possibly be the GOAT. There's only one guy, and he's the only guy to have a legitimate nickname, bro. The White Mamba, Brian Scalabrine. Shout out to you. That's not
Greatest goal of all time.
Yo, bro, no matter what organization he went to, he's the greatest. I don't care who he played for. The only difference between Kemba Walker's, he's just in a better situation. Even though he cannot stay healthy, John Wall doesn't want to be in a rebuilding situation, and Rockets not going to win anytime soon. John wants to be part of a playoff contender team, but no
playoff contender needs him. No, that's the thing. Like they either don't have the space or they don't need him. They already have, you know what I'm saying, a reliable enough point guard to do what they need to do to be in playoff contention, or at least to make noise in the playoffs. So no playoff contender needs John Wall. That's what basically what I'm saying. The market for those kind of players is so small because it's like once the athleticism leaves, what do you have left? Like, you know, Kemba Walker was quick off the dribble. He was, you know what I'm saying, had a quick first step. He had the step back. He had the crossover. Now that everything's slowed down and he doesn't have his knees, what's the use for Kemba Walker? Same thing with John Wall. John Wall was quick. Like, you know what I'm saying?
And with John Wall, it's actually a little worse because we forget he got paid that stupid bonkers 4-year deal with the Wizards, and they traded him 1 year in. I'm looking at it right now, right? The first year, the 2019.
Did he like tear his ACL like halfway through that year or something like that?
I can't remember what it was, but he went down.
It was like it was down. It was like a season-ending injury. Yeah.
So 2019-2020 season, he had a base salary of and mind you, this is fully guaranteed. There's no oh, you got to be part of like an all NBA team. There's no incentives whatsoever. This is fully guaranteed.
Boy,
it was $38 million.
That's tough.
Okay, all right. I just there was the college football rankings came out, and I just looked at it. I just had to make sure. Coach, tomorrow I'm gonna need you there, Coach, because you and I, we're gonna have a field day. But the 2020-2021 season, $41 million. This year it's $44 million. Then next year, which is the final year, $47 million. So what playoff team is going to want to get you to trade for him for you to what? Come off the bench?
Maybe.
That's crazy.
Maybe come on.
But he ain't gonna want to do that. that's the only problem. He ain't going to do that. That's gonna be he gonna have the Carmelo situation, and I don't know if he's mentally in the space to do that.
Nope, not at all.
Because Carmelo wasn't at first either. It took him to the point where he literally had no other option, and he had to be like, all right, like whatever you need me to do, I'll do it. I just want to be on the NBA team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Spotlight. Let me just run it. I'm gonna run off the top 5. Georgia at 1, Ohio State at 2, Bama at 3, Cincy at 4, Notre Dame at 5, Michigan at 6, Oklahoma State at 7, Ole Miss at 8, Baylor at 9, and Oklahoma at 10. God bless this country. God bless America. But yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen with Kemba. John, Mike. Tomorrow I'm gonna go on a whole rant. Don't worry.
Cancers.
Anyway, Kemba Walker. I don't know what's good with him. I don't know what's gonna happen because it's just he just doesn't. And now his contract works, so maybe he can go to someone and they'll pick him up off bring him off the bench. But even then, I don't know if he really will bring anything tangible off the bench. And again, I like Kemba back when, at UConn, cardiac Kemba, the whole step back. I love it, but he's on this rough decline, and he still wants to be, be ball dominant. And it's like you're at the point of your career now where you're just a shooter. Like I said, that's the only thing he's doing right. And if you still want the ball in your hand, I don't know. Like, I don't know. My basketball team puts a smile on my face. You just can't lose. Yeah, this is a Suns fan. 13 in a row. And it was crazy.
Lost
Suns
in the
started
finals.
1-3. They started 1-3. They was looking real suspect. And all of a sudden, they were like, all right, yeah, we've been playing around for these 4 games. He was chilling, you feel me? Devin Booker was out here, doing his thing, you feel me? CP3 was, I'm sorry, it was Cliff Paul that was on the court, you feel me? All of a sudden, they clicked on 13 in a row. The Suns are definitely very, very impressive. But
Yeah, they clicking right now.
Kemba's in this weird. Kemba is in the same spot that he's gonna be in the same spot that Melo was in.
I think he's in more of a spot of Cameron Payne. I look at Payne early when he was with the Bulls. You looked at him and said, "This guy doesn't deserve to be in the league." Goes to the right place, maybe it works.
Maybe.
Could be. I'm not sure what that right place looks like for him, but I mean, it could be
the G League.
I'm just excited about Cincinnati.
He might be Lance Stevenson out here because Lance Stevenson. I think he's in the D or G League right now.
He's vibing.
Yeah, last time I heard he was in the G League.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, him and Serge Ibaka. God bless him.
In the G. Oh, Serge.
Yeah, Serge in the G League. He was injured, so that's kind of part of his rehab assignment. Yeah.
In the G, like Jello in the G, like Jello stuck.
That's the rumor going around is that he is quote dog shit. Speaking of dog shit, the NBA decided to punish my guy Braun for breathing.
Some bullshit.
That's what he's doing, right? So before we get into any of the punishments, because Mike, the way you just lean back, you and I, we're gonna have fun here. But first and foremost, explain to me how you felt, your gut reaction when this first happened, and then after you finish with that, go on your soliloquy on why LeBron should have been suspended for the rest of the year.
Come on, soliloquy.
I can't even say that word. But
that's a Stephen A. 5 words a day right there. That's the soliloquy. That's his go-to right there.
Most soliloquy. I don't know, but hey, that shit felt like home. It really did. It felt
that part.
It felt like I was playing ball at the rec center, like I was playing ball in the street, like we used to. You catch an elbow, you catch a jab, you catch someone throwing hands. That's what it felt like. Like I'll say it like this: Bron, the dirty player narrative. I don't think I really heard anybody call him a dirty player. Bron's never been a dirty player his entire life. But this was dirty, and it was dirty for all the wrong reasons. I feel like I don't feel like Bron had any issue with Isaiah Stewart. I feel like it was more out of frustration, and Isaiah Stewart's face just so happened to be exactly where Bron was going to contact. Bron was without a doubt fist closed. I'm swinging at something. I just don't think he intended it to be Isaiah Stewart's fucking jawline. Like I don't think he intended.
Yeah.
Like I understand that you look at the video and you say, if I look at Pride right now, which way do I have to look? I like to look that way, right? So if I look at Pride like this,
y'all are hilarious.
Second, am I actually seeing Pride? Now, if you slow it and you assume where my eyes are looking, you can say I was staring at Pride for a whole 15 seconds. I'm sorry, but it was Damien. But that's Alana missed that one. But
yeah, definitely.
It was a whole thing. I'll tell you later. But
yeah, just text me, bro.
It was a situation to me where he definitely did see Isaiah, but I think he saw Isaiah for 0.01 seconds, and I think that's immediately why he apologized. Bron doesn't apologize for things unless he actually has to apologize for them. Like it's definitely I don't know who Pride just waved off, but that felt like
my daughter.
Cold. Wow.
Hey, baby girl. Hey, baby girl.
She was going upstairs. She was like, bye-bye. So I was like saying bye to her.
Oh, I was like, wow, waved off. But
no, not you.
Wow. But nah, Isaiah Stewart, and to everybody saying, and Freddie and Jonathan got into it yesterday, I'm defending Isaiah Stewart because I don't know how many of y'all have been into a fight. When you get into a fight, number one, I took an 80-something mile per hour fastball to the face before. And to take the fist of God of a 6'9", pure muscle man who's viewed as the greatest athlete of all time, You look at it like that, and who puts over $1 million in his body, just punched you in the face, full force. He can't see Bron. His eyes are watering. He's probably discombobulated. So, yes, he was face-to-face with Bron for probably like 5 seconds. But I feel like, one, whatever Bron said to him did not register at all, probably until after the game where he was like, oh, wow, Bron was probably trying to apologize to me. But in that moment, if you've ever been into a fight, you understand. I don't understand the things that happened until either, one, I see the video, two, people tell me about it later. Three, everything clicks when you're in your room and being like, damn, like, whoa, like you're starting to remember everything. It's really quick. Now, the 2 to 5 other times Isaiah Stewart tried to go at LeBron James, he's in the wrong. He's a child. He deserved to get punished the way he did. I felt like he was more frustrated because if you didn't see, the second time he got cut was actually not from Bron. It was from somebody else. The one by his eye, that was
Goonies. Bron had the Goonies.
Right.
He had the Goonies. He had the Goonies.
Right. So I think he was a lot more upset about that than he was about the initial hit. I think he probably also thought that was Bron at the same time. But I don't blame LeBron James, for doing what he did because it's not a basketball move. I won't go on there and say it's a basketball move. Jonathan said it was, and I love Jonathan, but that's insane.
Because that's cap.
I've never seen a basketball player close his fist in the middle of a game ever. There's no reason to do it. Not even in baseball, not even in football. No reason whatsoever to be doing it. So I look at it like that. Bron definitely was in the wrong. He deserved to be suspended. We've seen Kobe get suspended for it. We've seen a bunch of people get suspended for it for far less things. My problem is Isaiah Stewart only getting one more game than him because Isaiah Stewart literally trucked over every single trainer and every single player and Cade Cunningham. So I felt like that was an embarrassment to the league.
He was ragdolling Cade.
but yeah, it's before y'all go like Bron ain't right. Bron ain't right for that, and I won't justify that. But I think it's a little bit more blown out of proportion than it should have been.
Yeah.
But that was bullshit.
The floor is yours. I want to go last because I'm about to be very disrespectful. I'm not even going to
hold gosh.
Disrespectful. So please.
Okay. So when I first initially started to play, I was that's out of pocket. That is wrong. Ooh, that's wrong. But anyway, when I first saw the play, I was a little under the influence. I didn't really understand what was going on at first because I saw like the after effect. Like I didn't see Bron initially elbow him. I just saw like they were kind of like in the arm lock, and then they separated, and then he took off running. So then when I went back and watched it again, and I actually like dissected it a little bit more, I think. I kind of agree with Mike. I don't think it was a basketball play, but I just think it was one of those situations where I hooped pretty much my whole life. So I kind of, especially when it comes to like a box out, like that kind of stuff, it happens. Like it's not one of those things where like it's always intentional. It just happens. You may be in the heat of the moment. Yeah, you frustrated. You're in the heat of the moment. The game might not be going your way, or they might be being a little bit more aggressive than you would like, and you like, all right, look. The next time somebody grab me, I'm gonna just throw a little extra. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just throw a little something on it so they know to get off me. And I think it was one of those situations where Bron was frustrated and he was just like, you know what? I'm gonna send a message, but I don't think in his mind he was like, I'm intentionally trying to hurt somebody. I'm just trying to let you know, get your hands off me. Like, and that's just what it is. So I think like when he swung, he did extend. So there was, then the extension is the part where it kind of gets tricky because once you extend and you're closed fist, it's like like Mike said, you were trying to hit something or just swing in the vicinity of something, not necessarily break somebody or split somebody's face open or anything like that. It's just whatever in my vicinity, they gonna know to back up because I'm swinging full, full arm. I think that when they locked arms, that Bron was definitely trying to apologize to him because you could see it in Bron's face that he felt bad and he was like, "Yo, like calm down, like it wasn't that thick." I think once he saw Isaiah Stewart was trying to take it somewhere else, it was like, okay, well, I'm still from Akron, sir. Like, I'm 6'8", 260 still. Like, I grew up without a daddy. Like, niggas without daddies can fight. But I'm just saying, you're just one of those things, man. It's just one of those things. Like, when you grow up without your dad, you got a little extra little oomph back there. Like, it's a little extra oomph. So I'm like, I don't know if Isaiah.
Hey, Pride. As long as I didn't say it, I think it's a pass.
I thought I was smoking.
Listen. It's me. it's me. They're gonna be all right. It's me. But yeah. So I just think that it was it was just one of those things where like it got blown out of proportion. I definitely think Bron should have got suspended. Just because, like I said, I do feel like in a sense, it was intentional, but it wasn't intentional to hurt anybody. And also, I think Isaiah Thomas, I'm getting them screwed up. Isaiah Stewart, I think he needs to learn from the fact too that you didn't have to do all that. Like you literally waited till you got to all the way to the end of the floor and decided you wanted to truck through everybody and be there was no need for all of that. But I just wanted to keep us informed and keep in mind that Bron clearly has goals because Russ was ready. AD was ready. He was trying to get there. DeAndre Jordan was ready. Melo was like, he ain't coming on.
I'm gonna be real though. AD wasn't doing shit. Russ was doing something. Russ was
no. Listen, no. But he was no. But honestly, AD is not. When people, and I hate that this is the conception on AD, as people think that he's soft. AD is still from the South Side of Chicago. Like he ain't no hoe. Like you know what I'm saying. Like I've seen AD.
I'm just saying.
I've just seen AD plenty of times get up in.
Yeah. He's the guy that flexes on you, but is different.
I don't think so because what was the situation a couple weeks ago? Somebody got, I think it was either Russ's face or no, it was Taylor Horton Tucker. They like pushed him or did something, and AD and Russ both was like, "All right, what you want to do?" Pretty much like. You ain't gonna do that to him.
But they'll run up on you, but I don't see AD actually swinging like that.
I do. Honestly, I do. I feel like AD is one of those underrated guys that you just don't see it coming, and he would be the one.
Yeah, I feel like you do gotta push AD a little further than most.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Those guys, you really like that. You actually have to.
You gotta get you gotta really get
Exactly,
AD, and this is why I think AD is like that because AD is like me. I'm confrontational verbally, but I'm not confrontational in that sense until you really get under my skin to the point where I'm like, all right, I have to defend myself now. And I think AD is one of those guys, but. The whole situation in itself is crazy. I think people trying to call LeBron a dirty player is ridiculous. It's like they need a ladder for how much they reach in. It's like, come on, like we're not. He's been suspended one time in his 19 years, and nobody's ever come out and been like, "Oh, LeBron was a dirty player," or "He's played me dirty," or if anything, they've given that more so to Kobe because people would say Kobe used to elbow and push and grab and hit and punch in the back and all that stuff, and Bron ain't never really had that reputation. So. Right. The whole dirty player thing is kind of crazy. It's the Skip Baylesses of the world. And you just gotta let them.
That was my point too, though. Like,
you just gotta you gotta let them.
But AD will do it. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
Russ is willing to get suspended. Russ don't give.
Russ would fight. Russ would fight anybody. He would fight a mannequin if he thought the mannequin was looking at him.
AD's just very passive to me. I feel
he's passive, exactly, and Bron is too. Bron is not really an aggressive guy either. Like he's not somebody that's gonna if you flick him, he's gonna buck up. But if you get under his skin enough, he will let you know. I'm still 6'8", 260. Like do not get it confused.
Now Taylor, I got stories about Taylor because Taylor's actually around my age range. He's from around the same area.
Oh
I'm
gonna
keep that to myself. But Taylor's about it. Taylor's for sure.
Oh, Taylor is with the smoke now. Taylor is with the smoke.
I'm gonna tell you something about THT. Word travels fast.
He's with the smoke.
Look, man.
Yeah.
I ain't from Chicago. I'm in Chicago one time in my life. He live in LA now. He made me scared to go back there. From the stories I heard,
listen, I wasn't. I think I had moved out of Chicago by the time THT. I mean, around that time when THT was coming up. But no, actually, I was around when he was in high school. But like once he went to college and stuff like that, I was already gone out of Illinois. But I've heard some of the same things. He's definitely not somebody you want to play with. So I mean, yeah, it's just it's the NBA of today. The NBA of today, they blow things out of proportion, make things bigger than they are because of the whole Malice in the Palace situation. So anything that's remotely seems physical, seems threatening, quote unquote, is gonna be made into this bigger story than what it has to be, and that's just I feel like that's what it is.
And that's
go ahead, Brian. I want
Taylor went to school.
Yeah.
When a lot of those.
Oh yeah, yes. If you are a different breed, probably you don't understand because you ain't grow up there. But when you go to Simeon, you are a different breed. That Simeon is Derrick Rose. That's THT. Jabari Parker, like, you know, guys like that. Like, it ain't no, because that's in the heart of Southside Chicago. So those guys are cut different. Like, please believe me, different.
So when I first saw it, right? Because mind you, I watched the game. I watched it. Now the reason I watched
I
it,
thought you didn't watch it.
they was getting smacked. Lakers getting
Yeah,
smacked.
first, because they were losing at first.
Oh.
That's why I had to see it secondhand, because
Yeah,
I turned it off too. I was
fight
like,
happened. Bron said, "I can't let people know I just got beat by the
Yeah,
Pistons."
so you know,
yeah,
I kind of
I'm out.
tuned in, right? Just to, you know, you guys are clowns, yo.
I'm just
no,
saying,
literally, I've literally done the same thing Bron, the same thing Bron did. I've literally done the same thing on accident and on purpose. So I know the difference between the two. So it's like, you feel me?
I faked a
Yeah.
couple injuries before just to leave
I
it
just
bad.
want to say this because the reason I'm very, very upset about this.
Because it's
If
Bron.
you watch the whole game, Isaiah Stewart was throwing cheap shots all game. Like, he was kind of chirping.
Mhm.
So my thing is, when you get it back to you, I don't want to hear any of this poor you shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to hear nothing about
Mhm.
it. That's one thing. As much as Patrick Beverly gets under my skin, the one thing I will never take from him, if you give him a shot,
He takes
he
it.
won't complain about it. He'll look for his chance to get his back.
Mm-hmm.
Steven Adams rearranged his skull. I think he was in the on the Rockets when it happened. When Steven Adams hit him with a strong diesel pick, and it put him to the ground. He got up. He said, "It is what it is. I'm gonna do what I can to get you back." Isaiah Stewart, you're a moron. When you go back to the bench, it's over, done, set. Now, I don't care if you agree with LeBron. I don't care if you want to say what Bron did was dirty. I don't care if I don't care about none of that.
Mm-hmm.
When Captain Bozo, Isaiah Stewart takes his dingy ass back over
Captain.
to the bench,
Captain
I'm serious
Bozo.
about this. Because if once you go back to the bench, it's over. It's
Yes,
done with.
done. Yeah, you gotta let it go. Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
You move on with your life. It's the same thing with Jimmy Butler. You have all that time and energy when you're on the bench, when you're all the way in West Bumblefuck.
Different. It was different.
It's the same thing.
No, it wasn't
No,
different.
it's
It
not.
wasn't different.
It's
It
different.
wasn't
Let me ask you
different.
Wait, Pride.
No, wait. Let me ask you one
I tell
question.
you, bro.
Did Jimmy Butler have an opportunity to get his
He did
against
not.
Jokic? Did he?
If you
He
watch
did.
it
He was
again,
right
if
there.
you
He
watch
was
it
right
again,
there.
It's the same thing.
when Jokic hits Morris, Jimmy's back is towards Morris. So
But what
Jimmy's
I'm
But he
saying is,
saw
you
Morris
turn around,
fall
you
and he
put
turned
him
around.
right
He
there.
turned around.
But
Yeah,
Mike,
he turned around.
You're
So
making
by
it
the
seem
time
like
Jimmy got there, though, you feel me? Like shit was
no,
already
but
popping off.
when Jimmy got there, he could have still did something. He didn't even
Yeah.
chirp. He kind of was just like, "Are you okay?" He didn't start chirping. He got to the bench.
We gotta make sure your guy okay first, because Morris was low key down, he was acting down.
I don't know, me
bad.
personally.
That was he was definitely acting. He put on an
Exactly.
Oscar worthy performance.
I'm gonna tell you this right now.
What's up,
I'm
Key?
gonna tell you
Shout
this
out,
right
Key.
now. And I'm 100%. This is how I feel about this.
What did he say?
No, nothing. Don't pay attention. Don't pay
Yeah,
attention.
I was like, sir, this is a sports show, babe. Like we're not.
But
Okay, go ahead.
this is my thing. And no, they don't.
Some
They don't want
political
no
stuff.
smoke. They don't want no smoke with him. My thing was Jimmy Butler had an opportunity. If he felt so passionately about it,
Man, I
he
can't.
could have done
read
something.
that.
That's all I'm saying. Now, Isaiah Stewart had all this energy on the bench. Here's my $1 million question. When it first happened, you had an opportunity to swing. You chose not to. Whatever the case may be, whether you didn't want to get fined, you didn't want to get suspended, you didn't want to get cut, you didn't want to go back, whatever the case may be.
I don't think he would have got cut.
No, I'm just saying regardless.
I don't think so either.
I would have done it.
I'm just saying based on his reasoning. Like,
And he could have, and there's a lot of people that were. Yeah, there was a lot of people that were saying because he was locked arms. Oh, he couldn't. I'm like, he bulldozed the whole team. Clearly, he could have. Like, if he wanted. What?
He is the one who's hooking LeBron's arm.
Yeah,
Like LeBron is completely like, bro, he's like, bro. Like,
so I'm like, wait a minute, we're not gonna give this kid a pass at all. And here's my thing. You go back to the bench. Bron is not saying a word. This isn't like
business scam
from the other side of the court. Bron is just like, bro, it is what it is. We chilling. You What you gonna give me? You gonna give me a tech flagrant one? This is bullshit, but whatever. Come on, let's just move on with this shit.
Yeah, he ejected him out the game. Like he was just like, all right.
Yeah, all of a sudden he wants to run from all the way over there. When you do that to me, you look like an idiot because you had the opportunity to do something and you chose not to.
Yeah.
Don't double back talking about, oh yeah, I'm trying to get respect. You want respect? Give me more than 4 points in 19 minutes.
Ooh, boo, boo.
If you want respect, stop getting exposed every time they do a pick and roll.
Ooh,
you want respect? Stop being the victim every time they do a mismatch. Stop being dragged out there and them screaming mismatch. You want respect? Fix that.
Mm-hmm.
Fix that.
You know where that second that
game, maybe you'll get respect. Don't come at me with all this, oh, I had to fight for my pride. No, you didn't, bozo, because you had the opportunity. You chose not to. You then go to the bench and you try to run. And you try to run, act like you go do something. I'm going to tell you this right now. If you got your own fans laughing at you, you're doing something wrong. This game was in Detroit, and you got dudes laughing at you. People in the stands, all three of y'all fans that are in there are laughing at you.
Three.
They're laughing at you. You got your teammates looking at you like,
right. Like, come on, bro.
He ain't about it.
Come on, son.
Like, come on, bro. If you got refs huddling talking about, all right, who getting the tech? Who gives a fuck about the tech? This ain't his bozo. This ain't still where you think. If you got the refs huddling to talk about that, you messed up. You messed up, bro.
Yeah. Hey, Mike, you want to know where he got that second cut from? Savannah and Zuri was in the cut with the blicky, and they snatched her from the stand. They snatched her from the stand. They was in the cut like, oh, you got. Zuri was like, you running up on daddy. Savannah's like, you running up on my husband. We got you. Don't you worry about it.
And here's my thing. I don't care if you think about it.
Right. You know, Savannah don't talk, so she the most dangerous one out of the whole all the James family. Savannah don't talk to nobody. That's the most dangerous out of the whole James family. That's the real thug. That is the real.
That's why Braun don't fight. That's why Braun don't fight, because he's like, hey, yo, I swing, body's dropping, and it ain't because of me.
Listen, you know how we scared of LDZ when she go there? Savannah the same way. Like, Savannah is in the cut, always strapped up, and don't nobody play with Savannah.
When LDZ on one, she
me too. Shout out to LDZ.
I'll agree with her when she on one. Just
what? Savannah
ain't nobody ever seen me on one. I'm chilling all the time.
Well, I can't say that to be honest with you, because I definitely have.
Yo, Mike is ready, bro.
Going.
I ain't mad though. I'm irritated. I'm not mad.
You're not mad.
So you be on one. You be on one.
I ain't never mad though.
I'm gonna tell you.
Do y'all remember?
When you're literally begging for the smoke, you on it. Yo, give it to me, bro. Like, yo, come on, man.
That's just real, dog. That's just me.
Do y'all remember when the Lakers and the Rockets fought like a couple years ago, and somebody it was Chris Paul and Rondo, and I think it was like somebody try to do something to Rondo's chick. And you know what I find funny about that situation is that Rondo's chick was sitting right next to Savannah. They tried Rondo's chick. They ain't try Savannah. Ain't nobody do nothing to Savannah. Ain't nobody blink at Savannah. Ain't nobody swing at her, throw nothing. Anybody did nothing.
I'm going to tell you this right now. And I genuinely, and I believe it. I'm almost positive Savannah did something that people know about.
Oh God! What?
Scared to say something. Savannah low key, she put time in. I don't care what nobody says. Savannah low key put time in.
Listen.
I don't want to hear
nothing. She was pregnant with Bronny in her senior year of high school.
Hey, yo, this Knicks game, guess what the score is?
I just saw it. Don't do that. I just saw it. Don't do that. 7. I just looked at it. Don't do that. It's not good. It's bad.
We gotta get Freddie up in here, dog. Oh wait,
no, we don't.
He said, damn, man, I'm tired of this shit.
It's 21-9. We just scored, damn it. We just scored 21-9.
Don't do it. But I want to say, yo, Mike.
Go ahead, Pride.
Petty. Mike, you're so petty. in the group chat.
Mike, what'd you do?
Freddie Henderson, you okay? You're so petty.
Mike is the pettiest person ever. He just
Yo, I ain't
I
gonna
will
cap
take
though.
that.
My Bulls did smoke, so I'll own it. My Bulls smoked last night.
I
That
mean,
shit.
look, but before we move on,
Yeah.
in terms of this, Isaiah
Yeah, go ahead.
Stewart, 2 games he should have gotten more. He should have
I
gotten
was thinking
Yeah,
like
yeah,
3 to
yeah.
6.
That truck, yeah,
3 to 4.
yeah. I'm about to say truck it
Only
to the whole
because
team.
my thing is,
Warren's
if
that,
it
yeah,
was-
yeah.
If it was just how it was, I'm okay with the 2. The
Right.
mere fact that you ran back on the floor, like,
I gave him like 5 to 7 just because you knocked over a couple of trainers.
yeah,
And players and staff and coaches.
Ah, fuck
Like,
that. Like, if you knock over Cade, who cares? But like you knocked over the water guy. Like,
hey, but
what's
he
yo, he's like,
He
he's like,
ragged up.
160 and you knocked him on his ass, bro. You're 6'8".
and he ragdoll Cade. He didn't just knock him over. He ragdoll Cade. That was
Boom! I was like, relax.
like he did it twice. Like after that point, Cade, like I just let him go, big dog, because clearly you ain't gonna be able to stop him.
Cade was about to land back on the IR real quick.
nah, I'm gonna say this right now. If
Oh
I'm
me.
If I'm paid, I go to Dwayne Casey and say I'm fed up with this shit. I go to the office and be like, I demand a trade. Ain't no way I'm looking this man dead in his face ever
If you're
again.
Cade?
I ain't no. If I'm Cade Cunningham, I'm not looking at Isaiah ever in this. Well, obviously because he's shorter, but I'm talking about in a respect aspect. I'm never looking at you the same. I'm
No,
never looking at
I
you the
rocked
same.
with it. I felt like there might be more of a spark than people think for the Pistons.
No,
now.
no. What I'm gonna tell you this right now. Once you start trying to bulldoze your guys, like when you start trying to bulldoze your own boys, like your own teammates, your coaches, when you're trying to bulldoze them, there's a difference between chirping and trying to go through them and literally picking dudes up like this is wrestling and throwing them over the top rope like we're in a Royal Rumble.
I hear
There's a
you,
difference.
but if you can learn how to control that beast, you have a problem for the league. So I think that if you can control that, I think you got something special. I don't know. That's
We'll
a
see.
Chicago thing. We take
I
all
mean,
those.
we'll see. I mean, it's a possibility that if he can harness it and he can.
If you can
know,
harness
like,
that
if
and
he
use
can,
it to your
maybe-
strength, it's like the
maybe,
Hulk,
but-
bro. If the Avengers can use the Hulk, they'll use him.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I said,
At the end of the day, it's the Hulk, so he crackhead.
100%. Yeah, and this dude ain't the Hulk. He played like freaking Bruce Banner, head ass. Give
Yeah.
him over 8 points, maybe you'll get respect. Klay Thompson, he's been cleared to be a full participant in practice, which keeps him on pace to come back within a week of Christmas. I'm not even going to talk about are the Warriors a team, any of that. No, I'm not going to talk about that. Here's the $1 million question. Sensei, I'm going to start with you.
Oh,
Okay.
What should be the reasonable expectations upon his immediate return?
Reasonable expectations is that he's going to need at least, I would say, I would give Klay about like a month or 2 at least, just to get a full sample size, because this is a guy that's coming back from not 1 but 2 major leg injuries and having surgery and having rehab, and this is a guy who also plays defense as well as offense. So he has to work himself back into game shape, because we all know, as athletes, we all know, like, being in shape is one thing, but being in game shape is 2 totally different things.
it's a different monster.
So it's a completely different monster. It's up and down. You know what I'm saying? You're not just running down getting open shots now. You miss a shot, you're getting back on transition. You know what I'm saying? They might miss a shot, you got to go back again. Like, it's a lot of up and down. I don't expect him to play heavy minutes. I think Steve Kerr will be smart enough to, kind of limit his minutes just to work him back in a little bit in the offense. And plus, they got guys that right now that are stepping up, so they don't really need Klay to play his the same amount of minutes that he was playing before that he got injured. So, but I'm like I said, I would say give him about a month or so. I think the offensive side will come back before the defensive side, just because Klay has always been a catch and shoot guy. He's never really been somebody that creates his own shot or relies on his athleticism as far as to get his own shot off. So I think that'll come back first, because catch and shoot is catch and shoot. Like, if you can shoot, you can shoot. There's not a whole lot that's going to stop you from doing that. But I think what's going to be the deciding factor is going to see him on the defensive end. What is he going to look like when he has to squat down and guard the best player again? That's what I'm kind of basing my I guess my eye test, if you will, off of him. But I would give him about a month or 2. Just like I said, he has to get his win in him. He's got to get his legs back under him, because like I said, he's been out for damn near 2 years, it feels like, with major leg injuries. So I say about a month or 2.
Mike, let me ask you a little different version of this question. Obviously Klay Thompson is their best defender, right? And he usually goes out there and guards the best player on the opposing team.
Yeah.
When he returns, do you put him back out there to do that, or do you kind of have him play like free safety, or have him guard the worst player?
No, you put him back there. I mean, there's nobody else. You put him at there.
I agree with
You put him there, or Damian. You put him there, or you put him at the second best player, because I feel like Draymond can definitely hold it down. You know, especially with Klay's presence. I feel like, I mean, if they're playing LeBron James on Christmas, aren't they playing who are they playing on Christmas?
I'll tell you right now.
Who are they? Yeah, I would say who are they playing at Christmas? I'm not sure.
The Lakers? No, the Lakers are playing the Nets. The Warriors are playing.
Yeah, they're playing the
Knicks, Hawks, Warriors, Nets.
Let's see. I'll tell you right now.
Lakers, Nets, and Warriors something.
So Christmas. When's Christmas?
Come on now.
December 25th.
Yeah.
25th.
Yeah.
On the 25th, they played the Suns. On the 28th, they got the Nuggets, and on the 30th, they got the Nuggets again.
Right. So you're looking at Devin Booker, Chris Paul. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put you on D Book. I might put you on Chris. I would let Draymond handle D Book. But
especially fresh back, he might snatch his other legs. That's one of them legs.
So I mean, I'm perfectly fine. Don't do that. But I'm perfectly fine with him, you know, taking that number one role eventually. I feel like after a couple of weeks, he definitely can. Defense is a lot different. For me, defense is natural. Defense is something that you're ready for. Your body just needs to be ready for it. So Klay can guard somebody. Wiggins is the best guard. What did he say?
No, so he's basically saying that Klay Thompson will guard the second best.
The second best player.
Have Andrew Wiggins guard the best.
Right. For a couple weeks to a month or so, I'd have Klay guard the second best guy. Down the stretch, he should be guarding LeBron. He should be guarding those guys if everything looks fine. And I know Coach is going to hate me for it, but to your original question, MVP status, baby. Like, it's going to take a minute. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's going to have to get back in shape. But you left my man's off the top 75. You guys forgot his existence. He's been gone for 2 years. The last time he was on a team, Kawhi Leonard was a Raptor. Jimmy Butler was a 76er. And Ben Simmons was the future of the NBA. So a lot's changed since he's been gone. And the league has been disrespecting him. Everybody's forgetting about him. The second Klay comes back, Klay knows what it is. Klay knows what's up. He's the second best three-point shooter of all time. I will sit down there and say it. The first being his teammate Stephen Curry, and the third being Kyle Korver. Come on now, boys. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it. But I definitely think it is going to be an MVP type mentality. It's just when his body is also there to tell him that this is an MVP type mentality. And I think he's going to take it a little bit easy at first. But don't be fooled. If Klay drops 30 plus in his first game, I'm not surprised at all. Klay's one of my favorite players in the league right now for that simple fact. Klay plays both ends of the floor, and this was what will take the Warriors over the top. And Jordan Poole, especially, you got to think, if Klay really isn't handling the minutes well early on, Jordan Poole can take over. Jordan Poole can be that guy. You have Gary Payton the second.
Yeah, he showed up big, yeah.
That bench unit could be nice defensively. If you look at Klay, Gary Payton the second, it'd be pretty solid. Wiseman comes back at some point. You'll have to slowly bring him back in. They might have a pretty good bench for a little bit. But I definitely have Klay coming back and being one of the best again. I don't think that changes.
Yeah. So just real quick, Miami Heat is losing to the Detroit Pistons, 44-35, and they're in the second quarter. And the Lakers are trying.
This is what I'm talking about. Pride.
They're trying to
spark. It's a spark.
Keep that energy after they lose. Anyway,
if they win though,
28-15, and they are in the first quarter. Klay Thompson, honestly, this comment said it best.
I said it best. Fuck you talking about?
Don't rush him. 15 minutes to start. Put him on a minutes restriction, and then go from there and see how he performs. See how he goes up. Let's see if he's fine. If he's better, can we? Are we gonna keep him at that 15 minutes? Can we bump him up to 20, then 25, then 30? So that way, All-Star break. Come All-Star break, he's good and there's no minute restriction. He's just outplaying himself. The Warriors can't afford to do that. They have
Yeah.
plenty of other guys who have stepped up, and they had plenty of guys on this team that if Clay can only play 15 minutes, that's fine. That's no big deal. You got Andrew Wiggins, who's been very solid for the Warriors. You got obviously Steph, who's playing MVP basketball for no reason. Since Draymond Green doesn't have to be the end-all, the be-all, end-all, he's getting some wide-open looks. Obviously, Jordan Poole is, an issue. When James Wiseman comes back, you guys have a legit big and all that stuff. So, me personally, I'm giving him 15 minutes, maybe even 20 if you want to feel that way. 20 minutes. Don't have him guard the best player. Make sure you just kind of work with him. Be calm, cool, and collected, because they got to understand something. They can be patient. There's no rush. There's no you need to get back in here and hit the ground running. There's nothing like that. They have times. They have some games to play with, and their way they're probably looking at the playoffs. As long as we're in the 16 or higher, we're good. We've proven that we can win a title. We just don't want to be in that play-in, because for all we know, we can have that choose that one game to be cold, and all of a sudden we don't make it. So as long as they're not in the play-in, I think they'll be fine, and I think they understand that. So going forward, they'll probably just be like, "Yo, Clay, relax. We're trying to make sure that you can remain healthy and make sure you're still very vital with us in our success." But speaking of vital, that fat ass Zion Williamson, dude is still injured. Yeah, I call him a fat ass, and I got a jersey of his too. Swear to God, I got a Zion Williamson jersey. I won it from Six Flags. They had that 3-point shootout thing. I won it. As soon as I put it on, swear to God, I gained 57 pounds. Swear to God, I gained weight wearing the jersey. I gained weight wearing the jersey. Imagine. But he's still injured.
Yo, that's terrible.
I know. I'm a piece of shit. I know. He's still injured. God knows when he's going to come back, if he's even going to come back. $1 million question, Mike. We were talking about a little earlier, and what you said kind of made me. I started chuckling at first, but what you proposed wasn't outlandish. So let me ask you the question: should New Orleans consider trading Zion?
Hi. Hello, Fredward.
Marshmallow Man Zion. Good Lord have mercy.
The Chicago.
Y'all are
I am the
disrespectful.
Chicago Bulls. Marshmallow Man.
Y'all
Zion.
are so rude.
Damien.
That is so disrespectful.
But if I am the
I
Chicago
can't
Bulls,
even.
in all honesty, I will trade 5 first-round picks for Zion Williamson right now. If you want the picks, you can have the picks. If you want the bench unit, you can have the bench unit. You can't have Alex Caruso, but you can have the bench unit. You want Patrick Williams, you can have Patrick Williams. I will win an NBA championship this year if I have a starting 5. Now, first of all, he's reuniting with Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, you have DeMar DeRozan, Zion Williamson, and Nikola Vucevic. Right there, 4 out of 5 All-Stars. And honestly, I don't care what anybody says. Lonzo Ball is an All-Star caliber guy, just not the way people look at him. He's not going to get you there off of points. He's going to get you off of there of what he offers.
If Ben Simmons,
Off of intangibles.
Right.
Yeah, and look, if Ben Simmons could literally make the All-Star game drop in 15, there's no way you're looking at me and telling me Lonzo Ball, who has a jump shot, can't make the All-Star team.
Right.
Like, that's probably what it is.
So I'm looking at it like that, though. You got the greatest coach and in the longest time for the Chicago Bulls and Billy Donovan, a previous coach of the year in 2020. You're looking at it like that. You have Alex Caruso still. You probably give up Kobe White. You probably give up Patrick Williams. You probably give up a bunch of draft picks. That's perfectly fine. But I say, Javonte Green, all those other studs you have, Ayo Dosunmu, he's a Chicago native. That's my cat. That's my dog. That's my slime. Illinois, stand up. He was doing his thing, the masked bandit, wearing the mask in the Big Ten in March Madness. It was insane. But you still have him. I'm higher on him than I am on Kobe at this point. So I think you put in Kobe, you give in Patrick Williams, he was a top 4 pick, Kobe's top 7. You give a bunch of picks. I don't see why they don't want Zion unless there's a better offer out there. But I really don't think there is outside of really Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons might be a better pick overall, but he's these guys are less of a problem. So I think if he were to go to the Chicago Bulls, This is what we're talking about. This is just a scenario. This is not me saying, Freddie, this is the solution. This is me saying if he's traded, I'd realistically like him to go to the Chicago Bulls. And I completely understand that he's probably not going to re-sign. I'm perfectly fine with that. If we just have 3 more years of Zion Williamson, 2 to 3 more years of Zion Williamson, that's perfectly fine because I'd rather keep Zach at the end of the day because his pants fit. But it's definitely something. Your jersey size doesn't change. Like, he's perfectly fit. He's doing his thing. And at the end of the day, though, I say the Bulls win a championship this year if they traded for Zion by the midseason trade mark. And that's the size I've been talking about. That's the size I want. Now, Marvin Bagley, Boogie Cousins, Zion, I'll take a chance on Zion. I definitely would.
But I don't, Mike. Would you really want Zion in Chicago where Giordano's is available and Harold's is available,
better
and
than
Italian Fiesta is available?
Bucky's
What is the other one? There's one more. I can't think of it right now. But listen here. That's what it was. Portillo's and White Castle. Like, come on, that's a lot of bread.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know. I don't know
like
White Castle in business right now, and I don't care if ASAP.
Me either, because first of all, I don't understand people that eat White Castle because if you want your system cleaned out, then by all means, because that's the only reason you should eat White Castle. Because first of all, it's gross, and second of all, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It shouldn't be consumed by humans. But anyway. You said should New Orleans trade Zion? Is that what you said, Price?
Yeah, yo, Damian, Jason Garrett.
Yeah, even and Garrett's popcorn too. Like, bruh, Zion is gonna be 500 pounds in Chicago. Like, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, no, but hold on. I will say this
or if he goes to Bocce's, like, come on, man.
Before I pass it to you, Sensei, I will say this.
Yes.
The fact that if Zion goes to Chicago, him not being because I'll be honest with you, I think the eating, if I had to take a guess, the whole weight thing, I think that's his way of coping with pressure, and that's his way of coping when he's uncomfortable. Because when he was in college, that really wasn't that big of a deal. There really wasn't that much pressure because he was the consensus #1 pick. He was that guy. There was really no pressure.
I mean, hey, man, everybody gets fat after high school. That's just how it be.
But I mean, if you're hold on.
You have a kid or you get fat is one of them.
But someone for me and you, Mike, yes. For a guy to go from high school to a very prominent college that cares about basketball, then to go to the league, and him kind of gaining that weight, I think that's his way of coping with it. Where he's just one of those people where, like, yeah, I just eat because, this is kind of what I do. You know what I mean? Like, some people drink, some people smoke, some people, when they're vexed about it, like LeBron James goes on a treadmill for like 45 minutes for absolutely no reason whatsoever. D-Rose probably
what a shot of Lobos.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, a guy. So I just believe Zion just eats to eat. Like,
right.
Well, not just eat to eat, but he kind of just,
No, you said it right. Like, during
Like,
the lockdown, bro, that's all I was doing during lockdown. I gained like 15 pounds during lockdown, in 2020 because you just stayed at the crib and you just ate and watched movies and shit. Like, it happened. So Zion has all the money in the world. He doesn't want to go out. He doesn't want to get caught up in the scene, all the protocol stuff. So he's just eating.
Yep. And like I said, if he were to go to Chicago, and we were talking about this, Mike, at best, he would be the third guy because he's taking a backseat to Zach LaVine. He's taking a backseat to DeMar. Sometimes it would be the fourth if Vucevic, is doing his thing or whatever. Lonzo's gonna have to get his.
That's some big boys in the paint though too.
Right. So that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, and on top of that, with Zion kind of being less ball dominant, he could actually just be a 4 and just play a natural 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Instead of him having to bring the ball up and do it, like, he can just be a natural 4.
Right. And having Lonzo back, toast. It's over with. Lob City. Just please, for the love of God, we already talked about this, Pride. Do not wear number 1. For the love of God, please. If you thought you were hurt before, just don't. Please, don't do
it. Listen, I think, and it sucks because I really like Zion as a player, and I like him as a person. I think he's a good dude, but I just think that I feel like I kind of feel where Pride's coming from a little bit, and that actually makes a lot of sense. Is I feel like he just feels like he's under so much pressure because he was so highly touted, and he was, supposed to be the second coming of LeBron James, as far as like with all the hype and just the explosiveness and the just, just overpowering everything and everybody. And I think that may have gotten to him. He's also very injury prone to as well. As much as he's this big strong guy, he's definitely had some detrimental injuries. But I've also spoken about this about Zion before, is that I always was under the assumption that he needed, even coming out of college, he needed to slim down some, because that's a lot of force to be putting on your knees when you're that big and that strong, and you're just, every time you dunk, it's with that ferocity, like your legs are going to be able to hold up with all that pressure that you're applying on them. So I was always under the assumption, and I don't even like a person that likes to talk about people's weight, but especially when it comes to the NBA and the way that it is played, and when it comes to being that explosive. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to keep your body in a certain condition. You got to keep it at a certain weight. You got to take things a lot more, especially if you're predicated off of athleticism, because after a certain point, it's going to start to dwindle. It's going to start to fade. And you know what I'm saying? If you're putting that much pressure on yourself, that much throughout the season, through every game, it's eventually going to catch up to you. And unfortunately, I think he's in a situation where it's caught up to him a lot sooner than maybe people expected. But that's just kind of what it's under. I think New Orleans should probably trade him, though. I don't think that situation was ever a situation that made sense or was going to work. Zion needs to be in a bigger market, for one. And unfortunately, as great as in the city as New Orleans isn't that place when it comes to NBA basketball. They surrounded him with a bunch of guys, a bunch of guards that it's with a team that's not really cohesive. It's just a bunch of guards, and everybody's kind of just doing their own thing, which is why they end up probably getting rid of Lonzo Ball, because he didn't really make sense there either, because he was a traditional point guard with a bunch of guys who like to freelance. So it didn't make a whole lot of sense. So I think they do eventually end up trading Zion, but Zion has to get out of his own head and get out of his own way a little bit, and understand that if you want to last in this league, you're gonna have to take your health and just your weight and your conditioning and your diet a little bit more serious, because you're gonna end up being a Roy Hibbert or Kwame Brown pretty soon, if you know what I'm saying. Because,
that's the thing,
you know what I mean? Like,
it's sad because he could potentially end up there. And like I said, I genuinely believe this whole thing is just him coping with pressure. Because remember, right now is when the pressure really is on him.
Pride, to your point, not to cut you off, but that's why, like, I wanted to go out there. And I know Victor's somewhere watching, just kicking in the air right now, that I said he should come to Chicago. But that's why I think, teaming up in New York if you traded Kemba Walker and a shit ton of picks for Zion right now, so him and RJ Barrett could be teammates, that sounds perfect. But it's that I'm in the Big Apple now. I'm in the Garden. Like, that's even more pressure to what Pride's point is. So that's why I said in Chicago, you kind of, all right, we have Zach, we have all these guys already here. I'm just here to chill.
You kind of fall on the radar. Fall on the radar a little bit. Yeah.
Very quickly make him the face of that franchise. So that's why I was like, I don't think that's a good fit.
And they'll eat him alive if he doesn't perform too, because New York is not one of those places where they sit and wait and let guys develop. Like, you need to be coming in hot, ready right now, especially for New York. Because a place like especially in New York and the New York Knicks, that's a cornerstone franchise for New York City, period. When you come into that situation, they expect you to be the guy right now. There's no waiting, there's no development. It's right now.
I would like Zion to Brooklyn, because again,
Kyrie.
Not only are you still got James and KD. They don't really have a dependable big man that they rocking with. It's kind of more like a big man by committee. You know what I mean? He'll start, and again,
and that would help their defense, because they can't stop nobody right now either.
There's no because again, there's guys who's got all the talent in the world, but just can't handle the pressure.
They can't put it together.
Zion is one of those guys, and another one like that is Ben Simmons. They just, when it comes to the pressure, unfortunately, they can't do it. Victor says, man, you have to give up more than picks. They're gonna want players. Maybe.
I'll give Obi and Kemba if I'm New York, and then picks.
I don't think they'll want Kemba. Maybe. I don't know.
No, I don't think they take on because they already have a bunch of guards. They're not going to take on Kemba. They already got a bunch of guards.
Guard heavy, so they're going to.
They're guard heavy, yeah.
Why get rid of one of your big men and get a guard? They're already small.
Yeah, that doesn't make it. Yeah, that makes sense.
They're
yeah.
already small as is. So, but at the
So
same
they would
time,
have to give up like probably like another big like a couple bigs and then some picks because like he said they're already hella guard heavy.
I mean, I would take Obi Toppin. I would take Obi, no problem. But again, we also need to consider who we're talking about. This is the Pelicans who understand, like, yo, we're not winning anything anytime soon. Like, that ship has sailed, like, into the potential was winning. It really is. He said picks are pointless in the NBA if you're not in the top 5, which is, I understand to an extent. But at the same time, you can get those picks and wheel and deal them to get something else. And I mean, look, maybe it's just me. And I'm not just because a pick ain't top 5 don't mean it's pointless.
Right.
That's just me.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
You know what I mean? Like, because there's a lot of guys who have not been picked in the top 5.
Victor, your boy Jimmy Butler went where? 30.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
That's my guy too, but I mean,
yeah, I don't, because a lot of people say that you know, unless the top 5, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, I mean, I'm not gonna go that far because there are guys out there,
right? And wasn't Donovan Mitchell like 13?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that, somewhere in there. Yeah.
But again, like I said, the way I look at the drafts, I don't think it really is based on the players. I think it's based on the team that has that pick. Because if you give that number 1 pick to a smart organization like the Golden State Warriors, like the Boston Celtics, like the San Antonio Spurs, or not even just the first pick, if you give them a later pick, they'll know, you know, they do enough research to kind of know, all right, this is a safe bet, or this might be a little risky. We're gonna have to work on him. So if we're getting this player, this is a long-term commitment type of thing.
Right.
So to me, I always feel like we're talking about trading a first-round player for a 15 pick, and a player. Come on.
I heard what he's saying. He's saying you're basically getting like pick number 15 and then a player. But at the end of the day, if Zion wants to leave anyways, it doesn't matter. That's what we're talking about. If Zion's gone, regardless, you have
it doesn't. Yeah. Which I think.
He's not staying.
No, he's not. He's not. And he was never gonna stay in New Orleans. Like that. I was never under the assumption that Zion was gonna stay ever in New Orleans.
Left, I felt like it was already that was honestly the writing on the wall was there before then. Even then, I don't even think Lonzo was enough to make him stay because, like I said, he's in a small. Unfortunately, as great as a city as New Orleans is, and as much as they do love the Hornets and it's still a small market. Zion is meant, a talent like Zion is meant to be on a big stage. But the thing is that he has to understand is you got to maintain that big stage because Cleveland was a small market too, but LeBron James was LeBron James. Like it wasn't, you know what I'm saying? There was no ever drop off. You never saw LeBron coming into training camp out of shape or not ready or, you know what I'm saying? Overweight. Like you never saw. I know it is, but I'm just saying like as far as the trajectory of what kind of hype that's what I'm more. No, it's not fair. Obviously, it's not fair.
You're talking about the beginning.
The beginning, yes. Coming in, still, you still got to take it serious enough, whether you're in the small market or not, because you still have an opportunity to leave at some point, whether it's through being traded or free agency. But you got to still maintain your part of the bargain because what's going to happen is your trade value is going to be devalued because they're going to be like, well, is he going to come into training camp out of shape? Is he, you know what I'm saying? Does he have to take 20, 30 games to work himself back in? Is he, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think about that stuff too.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like, Zion just I don't think Zion, like I said, the difference with LeBron is like he came in with that pressure already on him. You know what I mean? Like you can make an argument that this is the first time in Zion's legitimate career that he's ever had to face pressure and have to handle said pressure. You can make that case.
Do you mean pressure? Do you mean pressure or hype? Because when I first heard about Zion, was in high school. I would say because I heard about Zion when he was in high school. He was
hype
dunking on
wasn't-
everybody.
Right.
That was hype because everyone was
Okay.
The
hyping him
pressure
up.
is to
Okay.
make the playoffs and win a championship.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, that's what
Okay,
I'm saying.
okay.
And even in
I'm
college,
with you.
it was more along the words of hype.
Everybody
When
loves
he
the
really-
hype.
I'm with you.
Yeah, like, look,
Yeah, I'm with
when
you. I'm
he
with you.
came in
I'm
the
with you.
league, they were basically saying whoever team he goes to, he is gonna save that franchise.
Yeah.
Once
That's why
you
the
get-
Knicks wanted him so bad.
Exactly. Once you get put in that type of conversation where
Right.
you are now the savior of a franchise, that's a different
It's
type
different,
of
yeah.
pressure
It's different,
that
yeah.
not a lot of guys can really handle. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, so like
No,
I said,
for sure.
I think that's really what it comes down to Zion. Like, I don't think he can handle it. And again, it sucks to say that, but that's the only assumption I can really come up with. You know, kind of the same thing with Ben Simmons. You know, like
Mhm.
you can't handle it, and it is what it is. So that just means instead of you being a focal point, you just gotta be, even as greatly talented as you are, you're gonna have to be a role player. You know,
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
really all
Yeah.
it really comes down to. If we're gonna be honest, but you know, at the end of the day, Zion going to do. I think we all agree he's not staying in New Orleans. I don't think
Nah.
he is. The only way I can imagine him staying is if like New Orleans offers him like a max contract and nobody else offers him anything close.
And
to it.
then,
I
hey,
think that's
he'll
the
accept it.
Yeah.
And 3 years in, he'll do what the rest of them do and demand a trade.
I mean,
Yep.
look,
Yep.
if I'm Zion, that's what I do. I sign it and then
Yeah.
I out later. Because the thing is, regardless, I mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna be fully
We've seen
guaranteed.
everybody do it.
Exactly. It's gonna be
Yeah,
fully
but I think at this point I don't think New Orleans is gonna be that stupid because I think they kind of know that the writing's on the wall. Like a lot of these teams,
he's
I
gonna,
mean, like,
he's gonna
yeah,
do it.
exactly. A lot of
Look at
these teams
them.
nowadays they're not even offering like, especially for like especially in the small markets for like highly touted guys like a Zion. They're not offering those long contracts anymore because they know in 1 or 2 years this guy's gonna want to go to an LA or to a New York or to a
keep your
Chicago
eye-
or you know what I'm
eye on
saying or
Luka.
something like that.
What's the issue is that he's in New Orleans. If y'all never been, y'all would put 10 pounds if he was there for the weekend.
Listen,
I
I
mean-
plan on going there for my birthday in
I
June, so
understand
I
that.
plan on it.
Like, and I understand that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, as a professional, you need to be able to do moderation.
Yeah, you gotta have self control.
I mean, how
you
long
gotta
I
have
know,
self
It's
control.
not like
And
me and
you gotta
Lana
be
going out to go
yeah.
party. Like,
Yeah,
you are there
no,
for
exactly. Like
business.
in me, I'm not gonna care. I don't have to wake up the next
Exactly.
day and go train for an
Right,
NBA
and I don't-
season. I can go to sleep and mind my business. Like,
Yeah, 'cause that's what I don't like about people saying, "Oh, yeah, if you ever been to New Orleans, you know, they I understand they got good food, but I mean, for as great food as that, Steven Adams and all of a
yeah,
sudden,
you're getting paid millions of dollars. That's the difference.
AD might be made of glass, but he was never overweight.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
it's
that
kinda
part.
like-
That part.
it's kinda
And
like, if you
AD
got-
comes from the south side of Chicago. There ain't a lot to
That part.
McDonald's.
So it's like the way I look at it is you
That
can't
part.
just say, "Oh yeah, it's New Orleans," and it's like I understand, you know, they got world-renowned cuisine there. Don't get it twisted, but
Mhm.
if you're the only one coming to the camp out of shape, and you got
Then that ain't
other
that's not an
guys,
excuse.
for as
Yeah.
long as Anthony Davis was there, no one really heard
He was
him
never out
come
of shape.
out of
Yeah.
shape. For as long as
Rondo,
he was
Drew
there.
Holiday, all those
Chris
guys.
Paul.
Chris Paul.
was there.
And Chris Paul's from the South. He's from North Carolina, so he know about good Southern food, and he was in perfect shape every time.
Tyson Chandler was there. You don't hear any of these guys coming in over like out of shape. So my thing is, I'm not gonna sit here and just say, "Oh, it's because it's New Orleans." I'm not gonna say. I would say that if it was Zion coming out of shape, if Lonzo came out of shape, Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, if all these guys, a lot of guys.
Well, pride now.
But-
Lonzo had other issues going on in New Orleans for the club scene. We don't have to get into that, but
Yeah,
he was out
had,
there with
Lonzo,
baby mama
Lonzo-
issues going
I'm gonna
on.
tell you right now, bro. Lonzo was pulling an Urban Meyer before Urban Meyer got a job. Let's just
And
put it like that.
Kizzy.
Let's just put it like that. He ain't care. He was
Lonzo ain't never seen no women shake like that. He from Chino Hills, California. He didn't know what to do. He was under
Nah,
pressure.
Think about white women.
He was under
Get outta
pressure.
here.
He was
Get
under
outta
pressure.
here, bro.
He
Only
was like,
shaking them girls. They was they back. They had nothing to shake. Like, and Lonzo knew that. So when he got there, he was just like, "Dad,
oh,
can I please stay?" And he's like, "Well, we get about
it
it."
was like,
And he went
this is
to
all
sleep.
natural, you say? Yeah, I'm about to say he got it in Chicago too, because Chicago and the South is related, so he getting it there too.
Yeah, when he went to Chicago, it's all right. You know, we'll handle.
Man, Mike, you can't comment. Jersey and the Raptors, you can't comment, sir.
Nah, you got it, Chief. You got it, Chief. Let me not get you in trouble no more.
Hey, I'm gonna just leave it at this. They ain't shit, but it is what it is. My shorty from the burbs. My shorty from the burbs.
Oh, yo, Mike's just looked like someone was hurt. Damn, he got scored by a couple of them. That's what that's for. But that's okay.
Oh,
it's all right. It happens.
Hey, the women in Shire, men, bro, they'll break your heart. They
listen.
They
I know.
They grown.
I got a couple heartbreaks on the roster right now. Right now.
Y'all both ain't nothing. Y'all both ain't nothing. I would never in my life do anything like that. See, I'm a virgin. I would never in my life partake.
Oh, here go Pride Lion.
I've never in my life even thought about participating in any of these activities.
As you shouldn't.
Fact.
I call my good sis.
I'm a child of God.
Right.
I'm a virgin. All right.
Here he go capping.
Right.
Anyway, and it's not cap, it's reality. This was fun. This was fun. Almost an hour and a half. It's been your boy Pride alongside Mike and that one true sensei. We brought up LeBron and Freddie didn't show up.
So I'm surprised.
It was a good day.
Yeah, that warrants a great show.
It was a good day.
I'm surprised because normally he just creep in the shadows. He just disappears and then you're like, oh, there he goes.
We will be back here Saturday at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Your boy do not know how to tell time, so I was out here fumbling like a bozo for a good minute. We will see you guys this Saturday, obviously, to talk more stuff. That guy who on behalf of the guy who pisses you off, Pride, on behalf of that boy from Chicago, Mike, and the smartest individual I met involving sports, that female sensei. We will see you guys next week.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays.